Alan Jones, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Leigh. My pleasure.
Of all the competing issues that are around at the moment, the one that you chose to focus on in your speech today was coal seam gas mining. Why is that currently your number one priority?
Well, in the first instance, Leigh, they did ask me to address that subject, so I didn't choose it. I think the original subject was something about rugby and the World Cup, but I think that was about a week late. Look, I think this is the biggest issue facing Australia today, and it's the biggest land issue since native title. Kevin Rudd's made a couple of major speeches about this in relation to Australia's food security. The thing is, Kevin Rudd's a Queenslander, and our food producing capacity in Queensland has been completely compromised by open cut coal mining and coal seam gas mining. I mean, when you think that 90% of the Darling Downs, which is one of the world's great food bowls, is under a mineral licence of some sort or another, when you think that they're going to have 20 to 30 open-cut coal mines in the next 15 years, 40,000 coal seam gas wells, I mean, no one can be serious when they talk about food security and the great opportunities for us in Asia when our prime agricultural land is being surrendered to mining.
But surely it can't be so simple that the miners are villains and the farmers are heroes. There must be a way that you can have coal seam mining and also look after agricultural interests.
Absolutely, and that's the problem. I'm not suggesting the miners are villains. In this they are, because they choose, of course, the prime agricultural land because it has appropriate infrastructure. Wherever there are these productive farmers, there are roads, there are communities, and this is where their employees can go. They don't have to build the roads. But look, the footprint of prime agricultural land in this country is about 4%. It's not asking too much to define what is prime agricultural land, which would guarantee our food security and, of course, enable us to feed Asia, which is a looming opportunity for us, and then say, well, miners can go everywhere else. But that's not the case at the moment.
But is the future of this country going to lie in agriculture?
No, the future of, well, part of it will, of course. I mean, tremendous. We have the most efficient farmers in the world. If we look after them, and there's another factor in this, of course, about watering Australia, but if they can get appropriate water, we are capable of meeting the very challenge that Kevin Rudd and Craig Emerson were talking about. That is, who's going to feed the extra 2 billion people in the world in the next 15 or 20 years? We can do that. But we're running the risk, Leigh, of not being able to feed ourselves. That's the problem. And when you see, for example, look, I think it's 1 minute past midnight in Queensland. It's not 1 minute to midnight. But what you see in Queensland, and remember, once you have a coal seam gas mining development, what is an industrial zone today is an industrial wasteland tomorrow. In 30 years' time, God knows what they're going to do with this. It can't be rehabilitated. So the Darling Downs, the Felton Valley, these are beautiful, well-camped, prime agricultural areas. The Fitzroy River Basin is outstanding. That's why it's called the Golden Triangle. These are the subject of massive mining leases over hundreds of thousands of hectares. Now, that is gone in a way for tomorrow. I hope I'm wrong, but that'll be a wasteland. But I'm saying the Liverpool Plains in New South Wales or the Stroud Valley and the Gloucester Valley are going to be the Darling Downs of tomorrow. We can't allow that to happen.
Throughout your career, you've chosen issues that you want to campaign on, and this one is the latest. How do you decide among all of the issues that are out there, okay, this is the one I'm going to pick to run with really hard on my radio program?
Okay. Well, I didn't choose this issue. This issue chose me.
But I mean more generally, how do you
Well, if I could just highlight why I chose this issue, if that's the word we use. I had a letter about 3 years ago from a person whom I didn't know who said that they went to school with me, and I couldn't believe what she was telling me. And this was about my little one-teacher school on the Darling Downs, where I rode my horse for 5 miles and tied it up under the pepperina tree. And she told me that a mining company had bought all of this land and Ackland was gone. I said, I can't. But I thought, well, I've got to go and see this place. And my sister said to me, do you want me to come with you? And I said, look, I'll go on my own. This could be a bit emotional. When I turned over the railway crossing at Oakey, past the butter factory where I'd gone as a kid, the first thing I saw was a road which looked like the Pacific Highway. I thought, what's going on here? Brand new bitumenised road. Little did I know this was to meet the demands of the mining interests. As I drove in, I didn't see a cow, an animal, a sheep. I didn't see a combine harvester. I didn't see a tractor. And I went past Kelly's and there was no one living there. The home was abandoned. And Jenkel's was the same and Stalls were the same. When I got to Ackland, there was no town. The mining company had bought all the homes except Glen Butel's and moved them out. so that there is no home, we're not desecrating anything. But the war memorial was to go to Kalpai. The Doherty Park was going to be bulldozed and the graves would be shifted, and I thought, this can't happen. Apart from the fact that it fed us all, and this is 7,400 hectares, it's a lot of land, Leigh. And I thought, what is going on here? That led me to do all this work, and a whole group of people, disparate people, have come together, and now it's virtually a national movement expressing concern about the agricultural future of this country.
What about generally, though, when you're looking for issues that you think, I'm going to take the running on this? What is it about an issue that makes you think this is something for my program?
Right. Well, I always say that my listeners are my best researchers. So a lot of my issues are taken from the correspondence. I answer over 100 letters a day, and I gain information from them. So I'm not picking up the Daily Telegraph or the Herald or the Australian and saying, what's on the front page, we're going to sort of run with all of this. And as a result, those people are only going to write when there's a level of urgency about what they're saying. So it might have been the Snowy Mountains